As I started last time, I want to continue my talk on leadership by looking at the theories of leadership. I would mention briefly the types of leadership and then the leadership styles that people would want to resort to. Theories of leadership. I think there are several theories. Let me quickly go through a few of them and you can discuss it in detail at tutorials. You can talk about the trait theory. The trait theory simply says that if you read the literature as I've indicated in the course outline, it expands and gets into the detail about it. But essentially, the trait theory simply says everyone who will be a leader has a certain traits or has certain leadership traits which when embellished, which when developed predisposes the person to become a leader. So to be a leader, you may have a trait like intelligence. You are academically smart and brilliant, and you are clever, and you are not dumb, and you are hardworking, you are honest. I mean, those great attributes of leadership, the theory says that you should naturally exhibit some of these traits. And so if you have these traits, it will just require a little polish up, a certain attendance of leadership trainings and all that, because you are smart and you are intelligent and clever. These traits would naturally, with little effort, catapult you into a position of leadership. It is a contested theory. People have said that how do you identify all the traits of leadership, all the traits that and attributes of leadership in one person? It is possible that a person may be academically brilliant, a person may be intelligent, but may be lazy. But leadership and laziness do not also go hand in hand. And so it's been criticized that sometimes it becomes difficult for you to identify all the traits needed to be exhibited by leadership in one person. That's one criticism. But you can pick up the rest of what is good. I've always argued that every coin has two sides. And so you can look at what is good about it, and then the criticisms, I think you would interrogate them more at tutorials with your teaching assistants. Then you also have the great man theory. The great man theory simply says that leaders are born and not made. So if somebody is born into greatness, then the person automatically becomes leaders. I mean, as a matter of fact, there are people who exhibit or oftentimes show that they are born with certain leadership traits, or they are born to be leaders. Some they've occupied leadership position from infancy to wherever they find themselves now. Everywhere that they go, they find themselves in leadership position, and so it is argued that probably they may have been born leaders. But others have taken huge qualms about this claim that you may not be born a leader, but you can learn the art of leadership and become a leader. And so, but that does not take away the fact that some people are born to have certain qualities. They are born with certain instincts or certain things that make them always find themselves in leadership position. So it may be true, but the contrary view that some people are also may not be born to be leaders. They may not be born into great families to propel them into leaders. They may have humble beginnings and yet they can become leaders. It's also very true. Then you have also the charismatic theory. The charismatic theory simply argues that people who call themselves leaders are inhabited by a certain gift which we call the charisma. And that charisma, which is a gift, is a supernatural force that inhabits the person and manifests itself in oration. So when the person begins to exhibit his oratorial skills or begins to talk, it is that charisma or gift that attracts you listening to him to want to be inspired and influenced and to want to give enthusiastic cooperation to that person who is a leader. And so that is the charisma. It is a supernatural gift inhabited in a person, and it draws people. It's not the person himself, but the theory says the charisma draws you closer to the person, and you want to be led by that person. That is it. It's not so much about the person, but so much about the special gift that the person has. And charisma, as I indicated earlier, manifests in oration. Is a way and part by manner the person speaks that draws people closer to him. But the challenge has been that it becomes difficult to know whether the person is really inhabited by a special supernatural gift or he's under the influence of something. Because sometimes people go under several influences. People can take alcohol, they can be under the influence of drugs, and then they speak in a certain way. And if you don't take care, you may feel that charisma manifests in oration. And so, to the extent that a person speaks in a certain way, he's charismatic, but he may be under the influence of something. So, these may be some of the criticisms that can be leveled against this particular theory. But then I'll urge you to attend tutorials to have broader insights and detailed insight into some of these things. There are types of leaders. You may talk about a servant leader. You may talk about a transformational leader. You may talk about transactional leader. I would want your teaching assistants to take these things as tutorials. Plus, if you read the handouts and the books that I've listed on the course outline, I think some of these things are pretty much straightforward. But in terms of leadership style, you may talk about a democratic leadership style, autocratic leadership style, and administrative, you can talk about a laissez-faire leadership style. I would limit myself to democratic and autocratic leadership style. A democratic leader is a leader who believes and has a confidence in the people he is leading, and so would always want to respect their talents, would always want to respect their potential, and would always want to believe that they have a sense of their own. And so, in this regard, a democratic leader consults with his followers or the people he's governing with before he takes decision. Decision making is always consultative, and workers operating within people operating within a leader who operates a democratic style of leadership are allowed to also take their own initiative, and they are allowed to bring their initiative to bear on whatever is being done. And this leader is tolerant of dissenting views. He operates a decentralized system of administration and respects the views of all in shaping whatever decision is taken. There's no strict command and control supervisory person who is always ensuring that people are doing what they've been commanded to do. No, there's a little freedom and laxity, and people are allowed to use their own initiative and to bringing their perspective to bear on decision making and in carrying out whatever task that may have been reposed in them. So if you have a political leader who is a democratic leader, he consults, he is tolerant of dissenting views, and then he respects the initiatives, he respects his people, and when it's about promotion, transfer, etc., it is purely based on meritocracy. Now, an autocratic leader is a direct opposite of a democratic leader. Decision making is centralized under autocracy, and he is always implementing a certain command and control leadership style. He commands and gives specific details as to what can be done and what should not be done. He takes decisions without consulting anybody, and initiatives of individuals are not respected. You are supposed to follow the orders and the rules and decision making is so heavily centralized, and he who gets promotion is he who is able to bootlick and gossip, he who is able to involve himself or herself in other forms of informal behaviors, other forms of behaviors that serves to only please the leader. Is the person. It is only when you're able to do that that you get your promotion. And so, if you have a political leader who believes in autocracy, is somebody who is always looking at full respect, people praising him, people not telling him their peace of mind in the face. He's not dissenting, he's not tolerant of dissenting views. He must always praise the person, and he does not consult. And he's also intolerant of what people say about him. If you want to thrive under autocratic leaders, then you must appreciate the fact that you are not going to be consulted in any decision making, and never criticize an autocratic leader. And then also take note that even when you hear about criticisms from outside, criticisms from people other than yourself, you may not have to communicate said criticisms, because autocratic leaders are unable to distinguish between the message carrier and then the message itself. So they may punish you unnecessarily. So basically, that is that. I would want you to take the rest of the bit about the theories of leadership and the leadership style tutorials, and then also go for more tutorials to look at the types of leaders that we have, whether it's transactional leadership, servant leadership, transformational leadership. I want you to discuss these at tutorials. My next section, I would want to highlight the problems of governance and leadership. Thank you very much.